A very warm welcome to you, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Politics Tonight, where we dig and go beyond the headlines. For informed analysis of major political stories in Nigeria, I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Enugu State governorship election petitions tribunal fixes the 4th of July for tendering of documents and the 5th of July for commencement of trial. On the interview segment for today, we focus on President Bola Tinubu's bold steps in 3 weeks of his administration with the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC and former member of the Senate, Senator Sen Adefuye, as our guest. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us. We will be right back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now to some developments in the polity. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, says the decision of the United Kingdom to restricting foreign students from bringing dependents with them starting in 2024 is not targeted at Nigerians. Rather, it is to protect UK infrastructure. The envoy spoke during a courtesy visit to the office of the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, in Abuja. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
It appears President Tinubu's participation in the new Global Financing Pact in France is off to a good start. He has held meetings with the staff of the Nigerian embassy to structure his schedule and engagement with other world leaders and foreign investors that are eager to do business in Nigeria. The introduction and implementation of some audacious economic policies in just less than 1 month since he assumed power may be sending the right signals to investors.
Mr. President's policies in the last 3 weeks really have encouraged these foreign nations and investors to become more interested in the affairs of Nigeria, in shoring up the economy of Nigeria. So a lot of them are quite interested. So many of them have even indicated interest to meet with Mr. President in this trip. At the last count, about 3-4 different heads of states of developed countries.
As President Bola Tinubu hopes his engagement will be productive and will return investors' confidence to Nigeria. Back home in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima also met with the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. They talked about strengthening the Nigeria-UK relations and improving trade ties between the two countries.
So I think we already have a very good economic dialogue, but I think there's a great potential to do more. And as I discussed with His Excellency, the big economic decisions being taken by this government are really important, and they're being noticed around the world. The removal of subsidy, the exchange rate reform, all of that creates a much better investment environment. And I was in London last week. I was briefing my ministers, but I was also talking to British business in the finance, banking, investment sectors.
It might be too early for the Bola Tinubu presidency to count its successes, but it is getting praises for the early steps taken so far. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
The 3-man Enugu State governorship election petitions tribunal sitting in Abeokuta has fixed the 4th of July for tendering of documents and the 5th of July for commencement of trial. In a petition brought before it by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Oladipupo Adebutu, challenging declaration of Governor Dapo Abiodun as the winner of the March 18 election in the state. The tribunal had earlier struck out an application by the petitioner seeking to expunge certain paragraphs from the second respondent's reply, saying the application lacks merit. It also held that the response of the second respondent, Dapo Abiodun, to the petition of Adebutu complied substantially with the Electoral Act. Counsel to the petitioner and the second defendant have, however, expressed their readiness for the trial based on merit after pre-trial issued have been trashed out.
The basis is that we have contended that the petitioners actually engaged in vote buying. We have not only contended in our response, we equally front-loaded, that is, filed some documents to buttress that averment, that position. And we have decided to do this to assist the cause of justice so that the court will be in a position to look into the petition and the defense filed by the second respondent. That's what we have decided to do.
The tribunal, like they did on Monday, did not agree with us, saying that as respondents, they have very space, latitude, to now include whatever they like in their respondent brief. We are more interested in the petition, that is, in the tribunal hearing the petition on its merit. And I'm sure that is where we have reached. That's the point at which we are now. The tribunal will now go to the merit of our petition to know whether what we have filed is competent or not.
In Enugu State, Governor Peter Mba has restated his administration's determination to deliver on the social contract signed with the people to evolve a new Enugu. Governor Mba stated this at the swearing-in of special advisors in Enugu, the state capital. The governor expressed his desire to assemble the best in order to achieve the lofty ideas to deliver a greater Enugu State. The new chief of staff assured the governor of their readiness to assist him to succeed in the task of delivering on his mandate.
We believe that what we've done is to seek you out from wherever we could find you. And we have no doubt that you have the competence to be able to lead our people to where we have promised them we're taking them to. We're talking about an emerging future. We're talking about a future where our young people would be equipped with the right skills, but above all, they are able to play in those spaces where you have the digital economy, the robotics, the artificial intelligence, the augmented reality.
Your Excellency, I want to assure you of our individual and collective agreement to assist you in performing your own part of this contract so that the breach will not be from you.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with our guest of the day, who is a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and former member of the Senate, Senator Sen Adefuye, for discussion on President Bola Tinubu's bold steps in 3 weeks of his administration. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and former member of the Senate, Senator Sen Adefuye, for discussion on President Bola Tinubu's bold steps in 3 weeks of his administration. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So it's been 3 weeks since President Tinubu assumed office. This is a man that vowed to change the economic and security templates of the country. And within this short period of time, he has carried out a major shake-up. How impressed are you with him so far?
I'm very, very impressed, and I'm sure every Nigerian is impressed. It was, at the beginning, everything looked very heavy. But with time, I think we are all getting satisfied about his performance. I think he's doing well. He's doing well. May God continue to help him. He's a bold man. He's a man who is committed to put smiles in the face of every Nigerian. And I am sure we're all going to be happy at the end of the day. The way he's going, I think he's doing very well, and may God continue to help him.
Take bold decisions in his desire to deliver on his renewed hope agenda. How well will you say he has lived up to that?
I think he has done very well. Let us take fuel subsidy, for instance. At the beginning, I was very, very afraid. I was trembling. But today, I think every Nigerian is smiling. Not totally, but I'm sure we're going to get there. I'm sure if you look at the fares today, the transport fares, they are coming down. They are coming down. If you look at the traffic on the road today, the traffic is fair, it's light. Those transporters can do two trips rather than one that they do before, and so on and so forth. We hope everything will continue to improve, and we pray that it will continue to do its best to make sure that Nigerians are happy. I think the problems are there, but I'm sure he's a man who is ready to make sure that we all smile. And so far, so good. I say it again, he has done very well, he's doing very well, and I pray that he will continue to do well.
Just like I said earlier, within 3 weeks, the president carried out a major shake-up leading to the sack of all service chiefs, CBN Governor, EFCC Chairman, and other reform policies. For you, what will you say is the boldest decision he has taken so far?
Well, the boldest decision, I think, is this fuel subsidy. He has taken so many bold decisions. So. Another one was the suspension of the governor of Central Bank. I'm sure there was a sigh of relief in the face of all Nigerians when they heard that the governor of Central Bank, Emefiele, has been suspended. I want to say it is normal for a new president or president-elect or a new president to appoint new service chiefs. You need to appoint those who will be loyal, those who are capable, and those who can serve Nigerians. And I think when he announced his new service chiefs, you can see excitement in the military formation itself. For the first time, I saw all these military men dancing and rejoicing at the choice of new service chiefs. I think it's a beginning that will lead us to a successful tenure. So far, so good. Nobody will expect him to leave the governor of Central Bank there after messing us up with the currency exchange. He also removed the EFCC chairman, which is another welcome development. If you want to fight corruption, you need a man who can fight corruption. And I'm sure with the team of the service chiefs, you can say that he's ready. It's ready to fight corruption. It's ready to fight, to make the security apparatus working once again. He has shown all those who are security risks that there's a new captain in town, and I am sure that they all have noted the signal that this new captain will not take nonsense from anybody. I believe he is doing well so far, and I continue to pray that he continues to do well. I think the sacking of the service chiefs and the selection of new ones is a welcome development. It's a normal and a routine thing for any new president to do. But with his choice of selection, I think everything is normal. And if you look at it, we had a little problem with this Muslim ticket, but you can see there's been a lot of balancing. The secretary to government is a Christian. So many appointments have been done to ensure that there is balancing in this Christian-Muslim controversy. And I'm sure everybody is happy now that nobody is trying to enforce any religion on anybody. He has tried his best to make sure that the Christians are also in the high echelon of this government. And I think that's a good development itself. I'm a Christian myself, so I think he has done that very well. And we continue to do well for that. I think he's doing very well.
All right, so Senator, you've talked about how necessary that decision was, and that's the appointment of new service chiefs. But how critical is this that these new service chiefs perform optimally in the face of the war against insecurity?
Well, the war against insecurity, let me tell you first. Only President Buhari has fought insecurity in Nigeria. Before the appointment of President Buhari, 12 local governments were in the hands of terrorists. And there was no attempt to repel them by the former PDP government. But with the government of Buhari, he recovered all those 12 local governments from terrorists. And Nigeria is now free completely from terrorist action. It's only kidnapping and so on and so forth that we are facing now. And with a good government, as he's doing, I'm very sure that he will all that will come to pass. I think terrorism, he has shown everybody here that he is ready to fight terrorism. And I'm sure he will do so. When Ashwaju is after something, he's after something. And until he gets it, he doesn't turn back. I think all of us should be patient. You will see that he's going to fight terrorism to the last letter. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, sir. So talking about the suspension of the CBN governor, can you hear me, Senator?
Yes.
So talking about all right then. So talking about the suspension of the CBN governor and the EFCC chairman, what message will you say the president is sending with their suspension?
Well, I think everybody welcomed that decision, especially for the governor of the central bank. You all know what mess you put every Nigerian just before the election, that you are not even able to access your own money. You can't take money from the ATM. If you go to the bank, you are limited to certain amount of money. It affected businesses, it affected everything. People could not feed because they could not access their money. The thing was not properly, it wasn't properly done. So I think that one is a welcome development. Where for the EFCC, he must have seen something for taking that decision. and changing the chairman of EFCC. That I may not know why that decision. That I may not know, but definitely he must have had something to change the chairman of EFCC. But definitely, we all know that Emefiele was due to go. And I am one of those who have written before that Emefiele must go. I did not hide my feelings. I did not. I told all Nigerians that they should let the man step aside. And since he has stepped aside, I think the Naira is now smiling on the face of everybody. You can access your money easily now and so on and so forth. You can go to market and trade. You can do normal businesses as you wanted to do. So I think the issue of Emefiele is gone, and it's gone forever.
So, Senator, what other institutions of government do you think need greater scrutiny from the president?
Well, I think what we need to do now is to see how to improve power generation. I think we should look at it, all the refineries, we should ensure that they are working. All the 4 refineries must be working. And our DC port refinery should be working. And if all that is working, then we are going to be able to help the economy a lot. Once you have power, you can do anything. I am not so sure. I'm not so sure all these discos who want to increase the price of energy by 40%. I think the president should stop them for a while. One, there is no improvement in power supply, and there is no reason for them to increase power by 40%. My advice to the president is to stop the discos and let them continue the way they are. If they are not ready to continue, let them drop, let them quit, and let the staff of NEPA that were there before continue to run our electricity supply. Even at that time, it was even better than now. It was better than now. Now that we have these discos, their main aim is just profit and not to give service to the people. That's the only fear that I have now. I don't know what will happen if at the end of the month we allow these discos to increase power by 40%. I think we should stop them. I think the president should do something quickly to stop them. He should call them to a roundtable conference and discuss. I personally had never wanted the discos to handle power. Everywhere in the world where they handed the supply of energy to private people, they have handed it over to the workers there, to the staff there, and not handing it to individuals whose main aim is just to make profit. The issue of power is not profit. The issue of power is to supply energy to the people and for them to be able to do whatever they like. With power, you can do anything. Without power, that's where the problem is. When you begin to look for diesel, you begin to look for generator, and so on and so forth. Now, with all this in place, and if we go again and say we increase energy by 40%, it might make it very difficult for people to swallow. I think they should stop them.
All right. So, Senator, if you would agree with me, most presidents are influenced by some cabals that control the levels of power. Do you see President Tinubu towing this line?
Well, you see, the last government, The problem I thought he had was that people did not allow him exposed to the public. The public didn't have access to him. With President Bola Tinubu, I'm sure everybody will going to have direct access to him. And therefore, is going to be able to know the sufferings of the people and where it pains and where he needs to do something. I don't think he will tolerate cabal at all. He is an open door policy man. He is a man. I know when you are in the presidency, the security apparatus is so tight that they don't allow you just to have access to the president. But this is going to be a different president. I'm not saying it will be as usual, but he will give appointments to people to see him. He will listen to people, he will listen to organizations, and he will actually perform according to the wishes of the people. I know him, and I know that is what he's going to do.
All right, fantastic. So earlier we talked about other institutions of government you think need greater scrutiny from the president. But now, what sectors will you advise the president to focus more attention on in his desire to change things?
Well, I've told you, the most important is power. You know, once you can generate power 24 hours and is available for everybody, then you will increase the economic potentials of the country, of all individual members of the country also. But now, maybe averagely, you have power 8 hours a day, and everywhere is generator. And then you supply, the power is also not evenly distributed. There are some people in Lekki, Ikoyi, they pay higher tariffs and therefore they have constant supply of power. Do you know that all the power generated are not being used because the DISCO refused to distribute them, saying that it's not so profitable for them? You know that? When you have used Nigerian resources to generate those powers and you are not distributing it to them, I think that is one thing the president must pay attention to. All power generated must be distributed for use, must be made available for the people to use. And you don't have to inconvenience the people by increasing tariff by 40%. 40% at one go. It can't work. I don't think so. So I will advise him to concentrate and quickly look into power supply. First, all the refineries must be working. The 4 refineries today are down. They need to be reactivated. If all those 4 refineries are down, and we can refine all the internally generated fuel, I think we're going to be better off. Once every nook and corner of Nigeria can have power supply, then the economic potentials of Nigerians is very high. I can tell you, Nigerians are very creative. Once they have power, they can do anything. Nigerians are very hardworking. We are the most hardworking people in the world, I can tell you. If you go outside Nigeria, if you see how Nigerians work, you will agree with what I'm saying. Nigerians are very, very hardworking people. But they need the tools to work. We need power to be able to do whatever we want to do. So it's very, very essential that the president should look into production of power, to generation of power, distribution of power, and making sure that every household has power. I think when we do that, you will see that the economic potential of Nigeria will change for the better.
All right. Tonight, I have a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and former member of the Senate, Senator Sen Adefuye, for discussion on President Bola Tinubu's bold steps in 3 weeks of his administration. We'll take a short break, and I'll be right back. Stay with us.